Diva, you've got to stop looking. This is not bath time. Kia ora whānau. Look, I had a button pusher here today. The scales we go to, or the heights we go to, it's just getting better and better. Sally Ann on the sofa with Diva and Ashok. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, kia ora, Sally Ann.
Good
Thank
to have you
for
here.
inviting us.
No,
Me.
it's good to have you here, and we were talking a little bit before about why I'm doing this, and I just genuinely want to get to know the people who we're voting for, because I don't know you guys. And I'm the kind of person who's unlikely to go to a candidates night or any of those events, so I thought, well, it's really good for me to sit down with a cup of tea and have some cordido and get to know you all, and why not do it live, right?
No, that's excellent, and also sharing it with other people. That's the nice part.
Yeah. So why are you standing? You're standing for citywide, is that right?
That's correct, and I guess the 3 points I'm standing for is diversity, governance,
Yes.
and innovation, because those, I think, are three of my strengths. And when we talk about diversity, it's like, I think really important to me, because some of the stuff I've been working on across government, and that's around New Zealand's super diversity. I'm not sure if you've heard of that. That's where we have a large proportion of our population are not the same as the rest of the population. So where we have, like, in 18 years' time, Maori, Pacifica and Asian in New Zealand will outnumber Pākehā. And that's understanding what does that mean in terms of representation. And the reality is, that's statistically what it's going to be like. But Pākehā are older demographic. And it's actually happening right now. You look at the schools, you look at the place around, you look in the streets, it's actually, the diversity's there.
We're giggling right now because we can't see each other when Diva does it.
Yeah.
But don't worry, because they can't tell.
And I think that's critical. And it's like, where's our representation of that? And it's not just like a visible diversity, and what we turn, we look different, but it's actually the types of people we are and what we bring to the table. And that's what I think is important when we talk about diversity, as a diversity of views. Because I think really...
mindset.
Yeah, and that brings a better conversation and better solutions.
Yeah. So diversity not only of ethnicity, but backgrounds and cultures and educations and perspectives. I think I really like what you've said. That's a really good point. Now, do you have a signature dance move?
Oh, signature dance move. I'm not big on the old dancing, and probably with my background I'll do maybe something like the robot, but pretty much I'm of the generation I just sway backwards and forwards.
All right, fair enough.
Yep.
We'll let you get away with that one. What's the number one issue that you can see that if you are successful in your campaign you want to tackle straight off the bat for Lower Hutt?
For Lower Hutt, I see, from my background in the innovation space, looking at something we can just like tangible and do. And that's like electronic waste. I'm not sure if you hear things like video recorders, cell phones, and lots of stuff. It's just going to landfill. And what we have right now, we have our Tech Week, and we're involving young wahine and getting them involved in science and technology sort of projects. We're sending them overseas. And one of the things they're going to see over in Silicon Valley is a New Zealand entrepreneur over there that set up a e-waste recycling facility.
I have heard about this.
And I'm going, great, now why can't we close the loop and bring it back here?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's like, we start projects and we go halfway, but if we just close it, and we have so much talent in the Hutt Valley, and that's where I used to work. I used to work in Gracefield at Industrial Research, and people that could be where we facilitate it. It's not the council would do it, because that's not the space to play in, but where you can facilitate an environment of where you can catalyse, encourage and do that sort of stuff. And so there's a whole lot of things, but that's something very specific that I think we can get our teeth into, and also it would apply to the whole of New Zealand, because it's a New Zealand-wide problem.
Perfect. Do you have a party trick?
Party trick? My party trick is I can bring out some fantastic food at parties, and people really enjoy that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what
Ka
I like
pai, we like that one. Good answer. Are you aware of SDGs? And if elected, what are you going to do to implement them?
Okay, so that's about the UN's priorities around...
Everyone's done their homework.
Yeah, but can I say the space I've worked in this area is working from 2008 to 2011, actually working with government agencies to get them to understand societal progress indicators, and that's what it relates to.
Yes,
it's the whole idea that it's not just about GDP, gross domestic product, and about the money, but in terms of what are we doing for society.
The well-being of the people.
Yeah, education, health, justice, environment, now how those all fit in. And we're going to get away from the accounting way of thinking about it, because it's actually really important to understand it's not a simple tick or a number.
Yes.
It's actually a holistic way of looking, and you're actually going to move people's thinking in that, and actually how it incorporates into everything in your being. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Great answer. What are 2 top actions that you would commit to protecting and restoring nature?
Restoring nature.
Yes.
Well, I think we're doing some great stuff around the Hutt Valley, and the council has to be applauded for that in terms of some of the walkways and people engaging with nature. But we have to understand we're a city, and so what we do is actually at the end of the pipeline. And so a lot of the stuff that we impact on in terms of the water, etc., is more like the waste end. Mm-hmm. So things like how can we reduce our waste at the end? So in terms of water usage, we shouldn't be using drinking level water and people using it in their gardens. That's inefficient use of resource.
Oh no!
And
live TV, you guys.
Yes. And
inefficient use of water, Diva.
Exactly.
Down.
And I just washed that. No, but inefficient.
You can leave it here. I'll wash it for you.
No, and but just starting to think that mindset, or something like composting. We have a lot of place sections which you could have a compost bin in, and potentially you could look at something like a $10 subsidy on a compost bin and teaching people how to compost rather than sending it into waste. Because a large part of our waste stream is actually stuff that we could compost. Mm-hmm. So that's just some really small tweaks. The fact that we remove plastic bags from supermarkets, and it created a huge shift in society already. Just that small thing.
Agreed.
And it's understanding that it's actually about how we make those small shifts, so it becomes part of people's day-to-day life.
Yes. Yeah. And the inspiration and the understanding to do so needs to be led by our leaders, basically, at the end of the day. What song can you not resist dancing to?
I'm probably more a reggae Bob Marley sort of guy. Sort of like Buffalo Nation. I could relate to that. I think that's probably part of my ethos as well. Yeah.
Awesome. How do you plan to better involve residents in the decision-making processes at council?
Okay, so this is where the governance part really comes in.
Yep.
And I think that we're going to get away, and this is the space I do play. I did a lot of work around student loans, and we won some awards for that work and trying to reduce student loan debt. And it's engaging with society and engaging with people. And it's not just polls and surveys and that's answer. It's actually really trying to get to the nub of what is the motivations and the drivers for people. And so that information is out there and it exists, but we have to be able to use it. It's really easy to jump on the Survey Monkey and get some ticks and, oh, look, we've done this. But, sometimes you have to engage in something like a focus group or, and really try and address what's the question you're trying to ask. And then are we actually meeting that solution? I think that whole thing of evaluating how well we're doing things, we do a lot of stuff around Place and Council, but is it making a difference? It makes a good byline or a good...
it sounds good.
Soundbite.
Yeah,
exactly.
We want to actually check what the people want.
And that's a frustration for me, so hopefully I can try and inspire people to understand it, because that's the space I do play in the innovation space.
Yeah, so you said that's a frustration for you. How has that manifested for you in your life that you've got to the point where you're frustrated about it?
Well, that's part of the reason I'm standing. This is my frustration. Is like I can see things could be done so much better, and not without a lot of effort.
Yeah.
But it's just people stepping up and saying, actually, we live now in 2020s, and I keep saying to them, stop thinking like 1980s, and it's all the stuff we can do. Yeah, we can do these things. It's not hard. It's just a mindset shift to actually do some stuff. Engagement can be done quite efficiently at not high costs if you have not the passion, but if you have the intent to do it right. Nice. And it's that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so that's what motivated you to put your hand up and go, I'm willing. Nice. Thank you for sharing that. Finally, what is your go-to karaoke song?
You know what? Karaoke, love it, because I'll be the first one to get up there and I'll sing whatever, because I can read. I can't sing, but I can read. And I tell you what, after I go, everyone goes, oh, if he can do that, I can have a go. So I'm what do you call it, enabler in the
You
karaoke.
are. No, but you're also a leader. I love that. You're like, you don't have to do something perfect. You just have to do it. And that sounds like that underpins why you're standing too. So I'm going to apologise on behalf of Diva for your shirt that has a beautiful new tea-coloured hue to it. And we will take care of that, won't we, Diva? We'll look after that for you. Thank you so much for stopping by. I look forward to seeing how the elections unfold, and hopefully we get to have some more korero around engagement and innovation. I really like the sound of that. Thank you so much for watching at home. Please donate to protect Wainuiomata River. Diva's looking at me. Give a little page, and yeah, keep watching. Ka kite.
Kia.
Thank you. Where's my button pusher? If only I had.
I think I've got some
who
free time to have a camera to myself, and really what I really want to talk about is...
That was priceless. High five. Oh my god, that was so funny. Well done. And it's probably still rolling now. We'll just get some more tea over your shirt. Diva!
We'll make it all the same colour
And
then.
I was just thinking, oh my gosh, this is hot. But you were so calm. Well done,
I've got
Ken.
lots of nieces and nephews.
We like
Yep.